So I wanted to talk about this concept called Ahimsa. It's a Sanskrit term, and it means non-violence or non-harming. All of our thoughts create grooves in our mind. So if you think a certain way about a situation, each time you rethink that or think the same way, it carves a deeper and deeper groove. It's kind of like a pathway in the forest. The more people that walk down it, the deeper that pathway gets, the more defined it gets. And so it's like that in your mind too, where your thoughts will create a pathway and then it'll carve it deeper and deeper. So if you're thinking good thoughts, pure thoughts, happy thoughts, whatever, thoughts that are good for you or the situation, then you're going to be carving good pathways. If you're thinking bad thoughts, violent thoughts, harming thoughts, it's going to groove that too. And it's going to get deeper and deeper until at some point, when an impulse comes in and your mind catches it, it's just going to go racing down that pathway. And you're not going to even think anymore. It's just going to be second nature. So the idea is to think good things, things that are good for you. And it becomes your nature. That is who you become. Incidentally, here's something that's interesting that a lot of people have to think through for years and years. I certainly did. Thoughts and actions are the same in this respect. If you do something, it's going to carve pathways. If you think something, it's going to carve pathways. Thinking and doing are the same thing. They're going to both carve pathways. So you can think bad thoughts, and our system of law here, you might get thrown in jail if you do it, but you won't get thrown in jail if you think it. But in reality, in a spiritual sense, it's the same. So if you're thinking crummy thoughts, about your neighbor, like, he's got a really loud motorcycle. In the morning, he juices it up and he goes to work at 5 a.m. every morning. And you're thinking, what a jerk. Every time you have that reaction, it's going to carve a pathway. Pretty soon, you're just going to be more inclined to think, what a jerk, And that's going to be your nature. Whereas if you thought, oh, poor guy, he's got to get up at 5 a.m. on that cold motorcycle, and go to work, that's a little bit more compassionate. I'm not saying the guy deserves it. I'm just using that as a somewhat, don't torture this example. I'm just using it as an example for illustration purposes. So where does this come in for Lalla? So it turns out that whatever you're thinking and whatever your nature is, but specifically whatever you're thinking or feeling is broadcast. And so if you approach a horse, lots of animals, most animals are like this. I personally think the more domesticated they are, the farther they get away from this ability. But most animals can read that broadcast. So you're broadcasting, I have ill intentions, or I have good intentions, or I'm a nice person. A horse is going to pick up on that. They can pick up on it from a long way away. And if you're coming at them and you have ill intentions, or even if you're inauthentic, this is, a lot of people have observed this, that, if you approach a horse and you're trying to act happy, but you're not happy, that horse is going to, and run off into the sunset if they're not confined in some way, or they're at least going to turn their back towards you and try to avoid interacting with you as much as that situation allows. So here's Lalla, and here I am, and I want to, this is what I need to do, my own work, to have a great relationship with this other being. I want to purify as much as possible so that she knows that I'm not a threat, I'm a good thing for her life, that we can have this trusting relationship. And the more I can purify my thoughts, the more I'm going to broadcast, the more she's going to pick up on that, and the more she's going to trust me. And I want that to, I mean, in a perfect world, always be the case. I never want to show her or be a person that she has to fear. We're partners. We're going to be off in the mountains together. I need to trust her. She needs to trust me. And I want that to be as strong as possible. So what I want to do while I'm not with her, obviously I'm not in Montana or Wyoming right now, I want to work on that. I want to, this ahimsa idea, this non-harming, non-violence, this purified, I want to become this purified being as I possibly can. And I know this might sound kind of nutsy twigsy to some people, but it's really a very deep philosophy, and it touches everything in life. And if you've heard of the Bhagavad Gita, a big part of that is about ahimsa. And it doesn't mean that you don't fight when you need to. And that's what the Bhagavad Gita, that's their theme. I mean, it's a war scene. So it's not that. It's that, are you coming from your heart? Are you doing it from your heart? It's like you have to do what you have to do in the world, but never put the world and other people and other beings out of your heart. Always keep them in your heart and do it through love. Don't do it through hatred. If you act through hatred, you're carving some pretty deep grooves there, and you're just going down, deeper hole. You're digging your hole. And so that's what it's about, and so that's the work I'm going to try to do. That's my lesson for me while I'm away from her. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Incidentally, this has a lot to do with karma as well, but that's for another time.